Ah!
Hello and welcome to The Sleeve. I'm your host Sophie Eggleton, introducing this new online show looking at when and where music collides with fashion and art. I'll be covering all sorts, from band merch, album artwork, tattooing and music video styling, clothing brands and beauty trends. So before the summer sun arrives to lure you outside to communicate with the 3D world, why not enjoy half an hour in front of your computer screen watching episode 3 of The Sleeve. In this episode, Bring Me the Horizon tell me what they really think about being styled. Artist Dan Mumford allows us into his London studio. But first, I grab a few minutes with DJ and broadcaster Zane Lowe, who will be bringing his no half measures attitude and fast knowledge to a Relentless Energy Drink. You spoke about how it's your older brother who kind of introduced you to a lot of music. I think he liked a lot of English bands like The Smiths.
Yeah.
And
The Who.
The Who, yeah.
Yeah, The Smiths and Led Zeppelin, and yeah, very much so. I mean, I have very vivid memories of going into his room while he was off at cricket practice or whatever, and just going through his records, and finding The Cure and going, wow, what is this album? And it would have 17 seconds on it, and the cover was this really bizarre, very creepy black and white blurred shot of a forest, sort of being kind of done over a very long time frame shot. It was very odd. Putting it on, and the music sounded exactly like the cover looked. And it was scary, and it was really off-putting, and it was very just disorientating, and I remember being quite sort of totally enthralled, excited and upset by it simultaneously. And then finding out what they looked like, and they just looked like the most miserable, weird, disaffected guys ever. And that was just, yeah, it was just before Tim Burton, and that was just so exciting. That was just growing up in Auckland, New Zealand, and, which is back then certainly regarded as this kind of very relaxed, very easygoing, predominantly sunny kind of city. But that doesn't necessarily reflect how you feel on a day-to-day basis, but music can. And so to find that darkness in records and find that kind of thing that you could not categorize or you could not describe, it just made you feel a certain way. It was, I think that is the revelation that millions and millions of people have with music every day and have done for many, many years. That's what makes it special.
Were you someone that would always get compelled to listen to something on the strength of the artwork? Did that happen for you often?
Very much so. I would look at something and also it would put me off records. Like quite often I look at an album cover and go, oh, that's cool.
Can you name one? Name and shame.
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, I remember there was a record that I grew up listening to. Well, I mean, God, I could go into it, but it's tough, isn't it? Because then you get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You start calling out that really bad album covers. I couldn't think of a bad one, but I remember thinking of, I remember looking at the Smiths album covers and realizing that I was kind of getting more from this than just music and more from this than just words. I was getting a real overall picture into what this band wanted me to feel. I wanted to know who these characters were on the cover. I was desperate to know who was this woman. Oh, she's an old actress. What movies has she been in? Oh, you wouldn't even be able to get them at the video store. It really was a history lesson as much as anything else into the world of what Morrissey and Mara and that band wanted to get across. So very much so. I mean, I think album artwork, and to this day, is very, very important. I mean, I do believe that over time, you got to remember that there's been a huge change in the way people get, appreciate, and hold on to music.
Yeah.
And that's happened in a very, very short amount of time. That we're only one generation really in post what it was. So when we talk about things like album covers and artwork and things like that, I don't actually feel like I'm talking about ye olde times. I feel like I'm talking about like 5 years ago, And I think that it's going to change back, and it's going to balance out to artwork, and the vision behind records are very important, and it's never just been about making songs for musicians. It's about the overall experience that they want to get across. It's very important, and it will find its audience again through new mediums. I do believe that there will be people in amongst the changes that are coming that will make that a priority again.
I was speaking to a band the other day, and they were saying when they're creating the artwork, they had troubles with the label because they're saying that doesn't look good on an iTunes thumbnail.
Yes.
They're like, it shouldn't be about that.
It happens though, doesn't it? I mean, how many times have you changed your Twitter avatar and gone, well, that doesn't really translate. It just looks like a weird smudge in the box. So I think it's you have to be aware of it, you have to be conscious of it, but it doesn't mean that you can't do both. It's just about thinking, okay, let's create one that looks good in a passport size, and let's create one that looks good in a full size. But you know, records and record stores, you know, are increasing in sales and interest, and there's always going to be people that like that side of it, and then there'll be kids who don't care. That's fine too. I think as long as you do what you feel right as an artist, as long as you represent that side of yourself artistically, it doesn't really matter whether anyone sees it. I mean, Pure Love will probably tell you, you make music for yourselves and you hope people get it. You make the art that goes with it for yourselves, you hope people see it, but primarily you do it because you get a joy out of creating that, having that experience. You know, that's what you get out of it. You let it go once you put it out for everyone else to enjoy, and hopefully get to play those songs live or whatever. But really, primarily, the great thing is that as a musician or an artist that you get out of it is the experience of doing it. That's it.
I want to talk about when you first found rap, because I know it wasn't really the done thing to listen to where you lived, so you're almost being rebellious with finding that stuff.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, rap music was just not the, you know, trend back then. It was very new. It only just really kind of evolved out of the underground in America, thanks to Run DMC, and you know, LL Cool J was just coming through with his first album, and the Beasties were just coming through. So it was starting to sell records in America, but it was already this kind of like, you know, what is this thing called rap? I mean, that's what they were saying in the States. So in New Zealand, I mean, there were no genres in record stores that you could go to. All the records fell into blues and soul. So, and I would just go and I mean, for me it spoke because of the energy of the language and the way that it was delivered, and I love the idea of the rhyming, and I love the attitude the rappers had. I love the fact that it was just kind of punk rock. It was my punk rock, because I was too, you know, young to have been there for punk rock. So this was the closest thing you got, was Run DMC going up there and just standing there like masters of the universe, you know, black hat, black jeans, black sweatshirt, Adidas, just like, and that was punk, you know. You saw that and you're just like, I want to absolutely listen to everything that is associated with that. And then over time that started to kind of change, and more records got sold and people discovered it. But you know what's really funny about rap music is to this day you'll still talk to people who think it's going to go away. And I don't know what it is about that particular genre of music that kind of winds people up to the point where they're like, oh, it's just a fad. It's like it's older than you are. You know, half the people saying that are younger than the genre itself. It just is one of those things that divides sometimes. Even though it's become one of the biggest genres of music in terms of sales and cultural relevance, it can still really upset people. I think that's partly why I still love it.
You wanted to find out about what the rappers' lifestyles were as well, and what they were doing in their streets and stuff like that. But did you find you also wanting to dress like them?
Oh yeah, we all went through that phase, definitely. I mean, God, every time we fell in love with another rap group, whether it was the Beastie Boys or NWA with the Raiders caps, I mean, everyone would adopt that, because when you're growing up, that's how you find your own style, your own personality. Is that you go and you sort of live vicariously through your favourite musicians, and it's happening today and will continue happening forevermore. I think it's the art, that's really the mark of great art and great music, is if you buy into it hook, line and sinker. And it's not just, oh, what a great song, or what a great beat, or whatever. You're literally like, wow, I wonder where I get that jacket from. You know, it's a part of growing up, I think, and a part of loving your favourite artists.
As an ambassador for Relentless Energy Drink, what kind of excites you in terms of energy today? What bands make you think they've got that figure?
Well, energy comes in lots of different forms, you know, and for a long time when I was playing records, I'd feel like if I didn't get everyone jumping in unison for most of the time, I felt like I hadn't really done my job. And I think now you can get it in different ways. There's moments for that to happen, and there's moments for people to just move their hands and sink in and get lost in a different way. So I can really enjoy DJs like, you know, Bauer, who go out there, you know, and make people move in more like a rap fashion. And then you go out and you see some of these rock bands that are in existence right now. Like, you know, what about a UK indie band like Palmer Violets, who almost feel like they're going to like reel off, and it's all going to fall gloriously apart, and somehow just when the song is kind of drifting off bar and everything's just going way out of frame, they pull it, you know, right back in. And I love that. I love watching bands connect in a way where it's just by no means perfect, and in fact, if anything, it feels like it's a shambles, and then just at the last minute everything just locks back into a groove. That's real musicianship for me, so I love that, you know. And I think, you know, the whole idea of no half measures, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you have to throw yourself off the stage and literally give everything of yourself at all the time. It just means commit to whatever it is you're trying to do 100%. And if you want to put across a vibe that's a little more laid back and a little more cool, as long as you're 100% committed to that, that's to me what no half measures means. Is, you know, I'm not gonna put half of myself into this. I'm going to put everything I've got into it, and I definitely hope I do that every time I go and play records or go on the air or do anything that involves me to be connected to music in a public way.
Okay. Next up, the Sleeve heads to a North London studio space to chat to artist Dan Mumford about his music-related work and the bands that get his creative juices going. Okay, so we're at your studio today.
Yes.
There's other people around, milling around, doing scratchy noise and things and stuff. How do you generally work in this space? Do you just get on with your own thing, or do you chat to each other?
It depends, really. Like, generally I plug in to my computer quite a lot, got my headphones on, and I try and get really focused to the point where I'll be sitting for about 5-6 hours without realising it, and then think, oh, I should probably have something to eat now.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes there's sometimes music on in here, so it can be a bit more jovial, if you will. But generally, everyone here is pretty dedicated, I think.
And what's the music of choice at the moment? Because I know you like Deftones. Is there anyone else?
Well, for me,
apart from your own band, perhaps.
My own band, definitely Landis. Yes.
Watch
Yeah, there you go.
Space, yeah.
They're always we've just recorded a new EP, so there you go.
Very good.
I like Shy Hollowed. They're probably one of my favourite bands. Just had a new record out, so that's probably what I'm listening to at the moment. And then I go for like cinematic orchestra, got a lighter side of things when I want to relax a bit more, feel a bit more movie-like. I also like movie soundtracks.
So do I. I'm with you on that. What's your favourite?
The other day I was listening to the Inception soundtrack.
Nice.
And that makes Walks Home incredibly epic. So I quite like that. Hans Zimmer, he's good.
Oh, always good Gladiator.
Yes.
Yes.
Hans Zimmer's a top composer of mine.
Yeah, good. John Williams, classic.
Yeah, you know, he's good, but...
not so sure.
I don't really put him on. But Hans is my go-to guy.
Okay, cool. Have you got any of them we can them out and just look at them?
Yeah. This one's quite good, actually.
Is that the Parkway Drive one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really like that one.
I don't think I've even opened it for some reason.
Big fan of the music.
Open it, because it's good.
Oh no, I'll probably scratch it.
I must have an open one somewhere. Get a big pile down.
That's pretty cool to say these are all yours, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nice. Should I get the vinyl ones out?
Oh yeah.
So that's the most recent vinyl I did. That's quite good, because it was a Gallows split with 4 other bands.
Wow.
For In at the Deep End Records, like 50th anniversary or something. I'm not sure.
Please tell me you've got this framed somewhere as a...
No, I don't. No. It's good though, this one. And look, they decompose on the back as well.
That is very... It looks a bit like that. Let's talk about some of these projects then and the successes. So Parkway Drive, what was good about that kind of relationship with the band? Or
well, that was a good one, because Winston, the singer, he emailed me, and this must have been like 2010 now, I guess. It's quite a while ago. He emailed me like a year before they were looking to release it, so it was way ahead of when... I don't think they even recorded anything. And he was like, can we speak on the phone? Which is totally random, because most clients don't want to do that. Because I'm in England, nearly always they're in Europe or the US, like 90% of the time. And so we spoke on the phone for like half an hour and just talked about what they were looking to do with it. And I was just interested in what they wanted to do and tell a story with the artwork. It's completely sequential, like from the cover all the way through to the back cover. So it's like, it is essentially a story as you go through the book. And that's just really nice to do, because it was a big project. Probably like 12, 14 illustrations in total, which for me is a lot to do on a CD. And I did all the type... Or did I do the type on this one? I can't remember.
So
I didn't do the front cover type.
Right.
I'm trying to think of the insides, the layout. Yes, I did do some of the layout. Yeah. Sorry, it all blurs together eventually.
So much work.
But that was a nice one to do, because it was one of the first times I've been able to do like a story essentially, which is something I always try and put in my work a little bit. Like there's generally a bit of a tale to tell, I guess.
Is it quite often a secret tale that only you know?
Yeah, probably.
That's all right, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like
Cryptic.
I think the only other time I'm trying to think when the A Day to Remember one, this one, the band were really specific about what they wanted, which I don't know how this is going to show off because it's all shiny.
Wow.
This is the special edition version.
It's special, isn't it?
But they were really, really adamant about it being these paths that you could take, and you've got this silhouetted guy here, and there's like secret codes in the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Where are they? There's one down there, and they were like they wanted to tell these little messages and then put these codes out for people to work out from the artwork. And that was really cool because I'd not done anything like that before.
Now, which is the most life-changing or career-changing album cover you've done, or single cover, do you think?
I wonder if we've got it here. We do.
Ooh.
Well, it's the original Gallows cover, which I have to say was done by me and Alex White now. Even she was Alex Curtis, now she's Alex White of We Three Club. She did the White Wolves. I did the Black Wolves. She did the Type. We sort of collaborated on it basically for Guys and Gallows, and this was their first album on In at the Deep End Records, and this was before they sort of really blew up, and it was just really nice to do. It was the first time I'd ever done an album cover for a band like this, and it's just nice working with my friends and getting to collaborate with Alex as well actually. And it sort of changed my view on what I was doing with my work, because I was at university at the time. I think it was the end of my second year at university, and I had no idea what I was doing.
Most of us.
Yeah, I only worked in black and white as well at that time. Hence why my wolves are just these black silhouettes, you know, which we replicated on the re-release of that album. So basically, I think the reason it changed everything for me doing that one was, firstly, I thought maybe I can make a career out of working in music, not in the way I'd perhaps originally thought when I was younger, like playing in bands, but working on the artwork side of stuff. And it just opened up all the avenues and changed my way of thinking about it all. These are the ones that everyone always just says they like the best, which is a little bit sad since it was 5 years later. But the Abandoned Ship single,
Yeah.
and this one especially, I think is more popular. It's the Belly of a Shark one.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, like everyone's always talking about this one, which is great because I like it as well. But at the same time, it's like I've done other stuff since then.
Check out our website, people.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I'm immensely proud of those because I think they just, you know, it got me out there to a big audience, and I was putting out the best I could as well. And I think, you know, it was great to work with Gallows as well on that because, you know, they were friends from back home, so it's just nice. Just nice project overall, to be honest.
Yeah. And just to finish up, what album cover do you wish you'd done? What do you wish was your work?
I wish I'd done?
Or what band would you like to work with alternatively?
See, I get asked this question all the time and I never know what to say, because I just think, okay, if I said one of the bigger bands like Metallica or Slayer, right? I don't know that I'd want to do that project because I can imagine it being a disappointing experience.
You never one that's like you don't want to meet your idol.
That's exactly it. I could imagine it be totally detached and things. I'm not a particularly big Metallica fan, but at the same time, I see them as like they are like this beacon of what
icons.
Icons, yeah, exactly. But but I could see myself just being disappointed.
Yeah, let's not do it then. Let's leave it.
So I just want to work with all the good young bands.
Up and coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's more fun. I think that's nicer when you do a project and you come up with a really good design, and then the band does really well, and it just sort of makes you think, well, hopefully my CD cover helped a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
or my T-shirt sold the most. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to create nice artwork for nice bands.
Perfect way to end. Yeah. To complete episode 3 of The Sleeve, I headed to Sony HQ to speak to Matt, Jordan and Lee of Bringing the Horizon. After chatting all things sempiternal, I probed the guys about style and their favourite album artwork. So, how important would you say visuals are to you as a band?
I think visuals are a very strong part of, you know, music. I think fashion and music go hand in hand. End of the day, I think every kind of music's got its own like fashion wear, whereas punk's got fucking spiky hair and then leather jackets and whatnot, and you know what I mean. And ravers all have the same fucking multicoloured shit on, and it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? And so I think it's very important. Yeah.
Like, some bands approach each album and go, we're going to look this way for this album. Do you ever have that chat ahead, or are you just like, whatever's happening at that time?
I swear what you want.
That wouldn't get past.
No.
If someone said that to us, we'd just go, fuck off. You know what I mean? If someone said, you've got to all wear this, we're just like, well, fuck, you can fuck off, yeah.
We did have an experience with that
yeah.
recently, yeah. We did this photo shoot and it was the fucking
And they dressed us up.
thing.
They dressed us up in just complete. They said they wanted to show us from a different perspective, but
They made us
look like
fucking
fucking
dickheads.
The wrong perspective.
Oh my god, it was terrible. I've got the pictures.
Have you got them on you now?
I'm not going to show you.
Oh.
They're too bad. I could show you. I'll show you after, but it's not going on camera.
One will see the light of day, and that's our bass player. And
Yeah.
we're going to put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, because it's that good. Yeah.
Merch, is that the name?
Yeah.
Actually going to be on our merch, just a picture of him, because it's that funny. And for some reason he said he was okay with it, so it's got to happen.
Oh dear. And in terms of your album covers, obviously art's a subjective thing. You might think something's cool, it might not be your style. Do you generally agree on things, or is it a bit of a debate when it comes to artwork and things?
No, I think a lot of the artwork's always direction. It's like it's always been his thing. Every CD cover we've ever done, he did the first two himself, and he's always directed the people who've done the other two. And I think he did a bit of this one.
It was his idea to use that Flower of Life logo, I think.
Everlasting Journey or something, isn't
Yeah.
that what it means?
Well, it represents
Maybe.
it represents
Yeah.
a lot of things. I think it's like sacred geometry and that in it.
Yeah,
But
right.
he's when he's got something in his head, he'll go for it.
Right.
And he's very forward person with stuff like that. And if it's not how he wants it, he'll say, you know what I mean. And most of the time, he'll just take it on himself to just do it himself. So the art is definitely a strong thing for us.
What would you say is your favourite album cover of all time? Most iconic?
Mine is White Pony.
So strong.
It's
Simple.
just a horse.
Yeah.
White horse. Well, mine was on a silver background, but there was 2 editions.
Yeah.
I love that album. I think because I like the album.
Yeah,
I reckon either Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, just because it's one of the classics, and then the last Bon Iver CD, I thought, as just like a piece of art, it looked cool and stuff, no matter even if you like the band.
I think my favourite packaging is Worship and Tribute by Glassjaw.
Yeah,
just because it was cool as fuck. And I don't know
it.
if you've seen it. It's just like it's like a record player, and the CD is a record, and the sleeve's just like a clear case, and it's just a record needle. So it just looks like a record player. And I remember picking it up and just thinking, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'll go with that.
Would you ever buy one purely on the strength of the artwork, though? If you just saw it and thought, I just need that for...
No.
It's not
I don't think I'd buy a CD unless I'd heard the band prior to buying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bands with cool artwork and they're just shit. I remember this...
Name and shit.
There was this one band in... years and years ago, I don't think they did anything, but they were called Andy... Remember Andy Glenn and Rich? And they were just like, what were they like? Just like folky rock, kind of.
Like folky, trippy.
But their artwork was the fucking coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was like an old, really old picture of a castle and people like working, you know, in this castle and that. Then they were just like a chicken on top of the castle. And I just used to think that was cool as fuck artwork. It just made no sense at all, but that was cool.
And finally, I have to talk about tattoos, obviously, because people always think of Bring Me the Horizon when they think of tattoos.
Yeah.
So, do you mind that it's not necessarily an alternative thing anymore? Does that affect how you feel about getting a tattoo?
No, not really. I think it's not as taboo as it used to be. Like, I remember when I first left school and started working, and I had tunnels and stuff, and they made me work it back because I didn't want anyone to see my tattoos. But now you go into places like that and everyone's covered in tattoos. I think it's just a part of life now, you know what I mean? It's not as like taboo as it used to be, and it's, yeah, I don't mind it. Whatever, if people want to get tattooed, then get tattooed.
How's your jalapeno? Because I remember you
Oh, it's fine.
A bit infected when you...
I had it redone and just, yeah, it was slime for about a month. It's got infected and it were literally just like slime. But yeah, it's alright now.
Warning for tattoo people.
Yeah, don't get tattooed by dodgy people in Mexico.
That was risky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, just to finish up, who is your style icon in music? Who do you think's got that X factor when it comes to style and being like a good friend?
Yeah.
Not personality-wise.
No.
Not the older one, Slade.
Oh, what?
We're going down a bad route now, aren't we? Let's do something we can actually...
You can put that on it.
Honestly.
Go on, someone you genuinely think's got a good style, just to finish on.
I don't really look at anyone and think he's cool.
Well, we're lucky then, aren't we?
Who's right funny?
It's going to be a joke.
Meatloaf, he's
Meatloaf,
cool.
yeah.
I look at
You're not going to get a serious answer.
I'm not, am I?
There isn't one.
Or Michael Jackson when he wore that gold suit thing and shot out at the ground.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake dresses alright, isn't he?
Oh, and
He
you've just
doesn't-
got his record
He's got
there.
his-
I just looked at it and thought, yeah,
There we go.
He's pretty slick in here. We'll go with JT.
Okay, I can finish on that note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of The Sleeve. Make sure you check out the new website and come and join us on Twitter and Facebook. Bye for now.
Ah!